Good evening. I hope you're blessed. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, wherever you may be hearing this word. Today we're going to dive right into the word in John chapter 4. That's where the word's going to be coming out of. We're going to speak about the woman in Samaria because there's a lot of misconceptions thinking that she's an evangelist or one of the greatest evangelists that has ever been sent by Jesus, and that's just not biblical. So we're going to start out of John chapter 4, and we're going to go from there. The Bible says, when therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Jesus had made and baptized more disciples than John, though Jesus did not baptize himself, but his disciples, he left Judea and departed again into Galilee. And he must needs go through Samaria. So there's a must, there's a need to go to this place, and there's a reason for that. Then he cometh to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar. In the Greek, it means drunken. So he'd come to the place, a drunken place. He'd come to a place that was drunk with religion, drunk with their own stupor, drunk with their own ideology, drunken with their own thoughts. Near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave his son to Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus, therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well. And it was about the 6th hour. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water out. Jesus saith unto her, Give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. We know that at a certain time, women would go and they would get the water for the house, for the animals, etc., etc. Same happened to Rachel. Rebecca. She went out to draw water, and Abraham had sent a servant, and they said, hey, if this be of the Lord, let her offer water to my animals first. And she did. Needless to say, that's what happened. Jesus saith unto her, Give me to drink, for his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, asketh drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? Now she already comes off with an attitude, because the Jews and the Samaritans were at each other. The Jews didn't think of Samaritans as people. That's why Jesus called the woman of Samaria a dog when she wanted her daughter healed of the demon that she was possessed of. And she said, nonetheless, dogs eat at the master's table. And he said, great is your faith. So that was the faith that that woman brought to the table. Nonetheless, I'm trying to get the verbiage across because they considered them less than. That's why the Jews thought they were dogs. So it wasn't that Jesus thought she was a dog. It was just the terminology they used. Nonetheless, Jesus answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. And the woman said, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with. Already she goes into the natural. She naturally goes into what's natural, not spiritual at all, only the natural. Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself and his children and his cattle? Jesus answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again, but whosoever drinketh the water I shall give him shall never be thirsty, but shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. And what did Jesus say? Out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. This he spoke of the Spirit that he shall give, but he was not yet glorified, so it was not yet given. This he spoke of that Spirit. Out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. The woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Jesus said unto her, Go call your husband, and come hither. The woman said, I have no husband. See, she was already using deception. She said, I have no husband, which was true, because the one she was with wasn't her husband. She was not only a fornicator, but an adulteress. So Jesus said to her, Thou hast said well. I have had no husband, for thou hast had 5 husbands. Truly. And this you said truly. That is true. She was being deceptive. She was being deceptive. She was being deceptive because she was telling the truth that she had no husband. But he was exposing her, saying, you have had 5, and the one you're with is not your husband, it's someone else's. So, and technically she had 6. And she was being exposed for the adulterer and fornicator that she was. And it says, the woman saith unto her, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. She wasn't perceiving, she was being exposed. She was exposed. And not only that, she was trying to deflect off of the sin that she was living in, off of the adulterous lifestyle that she was in, off of the fornicative lifestyle that she was in, unto another thing. She said, our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. She was deflecting. She was trying to get the topic off of her. How does he know that I've slept with so many people? I've been in this sin. I've been living this way. How does he know this? Because he is a prophet, for one. But she said, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. You weren't perceiving, you were being exposed. And you tried to deflect the topic of your adultery and fornication. You were trying to deflect and put it on something else. And she said, our fathers worshipped in this mountain. Now, what was she talking about? She was talking about the worship of Apis as one, for one. And for that, we need to go back to 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 27. It says, if this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah. It was the Jeroboam split. It was where the king of Israel and the king of Judah, it split. God split gave 2 tribes to the king of Judah, and the rest went to king of Israel, which was Jeroboam. And so he was afraid that if people would worship in Judah, in Jerusalem, where it was supposed to be, where men were supposed to come 3 times a year to worship there, that they would go back to Rehoboam. So he was afraid of that because of the power he might lose, the power that he might not have no more, because then they'll say, we'll need to go back to Rehoboam and serve there. So it wasn't about worship. It was about power. It was about the authority that he held as king of Israel. He said, whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. Where did he learn this from? From Egypt. He learned it from Egypt because Egypt worshiped calves. They worshiped the golden calf. They worshiped these things: the moon, the flies, the lice, the sun, the firstborn, the river Nile. That's why every god in the Egypt that he did before he let the people go, he exposed them. He exposed that he was the king of these things. He was the Lord. He was the true and almighty God. Besides me, there is no other. God said it multiple times. He said, I am God, and besides me, there is no other. So he was resorting back, he going back to what he knew. He was like, these are the kings, these are the gods that brought you out of Egypt. He said that, behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan. And this thing became a sin.